If you've been interested in trying an app that also connects to a CGM and poking around to see which of these might be right for you, you'll want to stick around. I recently tried the Ultrahuman Metabolic program, and in today's video, I'll share the 7 things I really liked about the app and a couple of other things I wish were available. I hope this helps you navigate the options out there and maybe you'll give it a try. But first, if you're new here, I'm just Effie, sharing tools and tips that I've come across that helped me and might help you in your journey to leading a more active, healthier, and more intentional life. Now make sure to like this video because it does help my channel, and please share it with anyone that you think might be interested in this topic. So let's get started. A number of apps and programs have been popping up over the last few years, making CGMs available for general health and wellness use. For people like myself and maybe like you who are not diabetic but interested in learning more about how food, activity, sleep, and stress affect our blood sugar levels and our overall health. Now, these apps provide other services that help you learn and understand what affects your blood sugar, why that's important to know, and ultimately you'll get an idea of where you may want to make some changes and see how those changes can affect your blood sugar and overall health. Now, Ultrahuman is one of these apps that's got a new offering called Ultrahuman Metabolic that have popped up. Today, I'm going to share my top 7 things I really liked about using this program. I'm going to jump right in and start with number 1, the cost. So I hope the pricing is still accurate, so please make sure to check in with them. Now, if you sign up for 3 months, you get 6 sensors, which averages to about $79 a sensor. Each sensor lasts 14 days, so that's roughly $160 per month. Now, if you extend to 6 months or full year program, the average price per sensor will drop. So this is one of the better pricings that I've seen for these types of services. So you do get access to coaches in the app. I believe some of them are registered dietitians and performance coaches. Now, also included is it gives you access to their premium subscription service, which is basically a whole series of workouts, programs, and music playlists. Now, the workouts include anything from yoga, actually all types of yoga, Pilates, HIIT, strength training, and cardio programs. There's also meditations and mindfulness and sleep programs. Now, a favorite of mine is actually the curated playlist. I found a few that I really liked. There's one in particular which has great acoustic guitar music, and I listen to it every time I need to focus on my work. Now, the other thing that I do use is the sleep programs, which I, of course, use at bedtime. And I especially use them when my sleep schedule's a little off. It really helps me get to sleep quickly, and I also feel like I'm getting a deeper sleep. So if you're looking to be more active and stress less, having these included makes it easier to start moving and relaxing. The second thing I really like are their nudges and peak trainers. Now, when setting up your app, please make sure to allow notifications because you will want to get these timely. And I found the nudges to be super helpful. Not only does it remind you to scan your sensor when you haven't done so in a while, but if you have a spike or a dip in your blood glucose, you'll get prompted to log what might have contributed to it. There's also quick access to log when you're viewing the chart. It doesn't seem that important, but if you tap where you want to see more details, not only do you get the glucose readings for that time, but also quick access to log either activity or food or make a note. And if you add from here, then it sets the time for you automatically instead of using the current time. Now, I like this especially since I do this at the end of the day and add my food and activity and notes to the app then, and it just makes it super easy. And in the detailed timeline, it sometimes sets goals for you. So for example, if you went over your target, let's say 2 times in the last 7 days, it may say, okay, hey, let's aim for going over your target 0 times in the next 7 days. So it keeps you aware of the shifts in your blood sugar and helps you set some goals along the way. But if you're not so sure about why you should care about these things, well, then there's educational material. It explains the science of your blood sugar and why it matters. And with each nudge or within the app, you can usually find a learn button or a little eye or information icon. You can also find more resources on the For You page under metabolic education. Now, there's a series of videos with great information on why you should care about your metabolic health, and it breaks it down into digestible bits. And what's also easy to understand is the Ultrahuman dashboard, which brings us to number 5. The dashboard is super easy to understand. There's the week's progress at the top. It's shaded green. So if all is going well, it's green, and if not so well, then it's yellow. There's also the scoring. So you get a metabolic score for the day. You start at 100 each day and updates and recalculates after you scan. The graph is also very cool. You can slide it left or right, but if you slide it towards the left, you can easily see the previous day entries and across the different days. I like the details on the timeline as well. All the dips and spikes are noted with comments on how well you're staying in target or highlighting when you're a little off, and it kind of makes you think, what could it have been? You'll see messages like good metabolic control today or nice and stable, which is very encouraging. And then there's number 6, which I've already mentioned it, which is the scoring. Now there's the metabolic score for the day for people who like grades or some way to quantify progress beyond yellow and green indicators. There is an overall daily score based on how well you're staying within the range. And it compares it to the previous day. So if you like that type of thing, which I do, then this is something that you'll also enjoy. But not only do you get a daily metabolic score, you also get a score for your food activity. Every time you log a food or activity, you do get a score based on the effects of that to your blood glucose and how soon it comes back to normal. You can use it to monitor how your changes may affect these scores. For instance, one day I ate a slice of pizza and sat around for the next few hours. My score was 6, but then a few days later, I ate a different slice of pizza. But then I took a walk around the block and my score was 8. So now you have some data on how activity can improve your scores. It's something you can use to experiment with what you eat, and when you move, and it helps you make better decisions. And lastly, number 7, which is the food insights view. I know I already talked about the food scores, but I really like this food insights view. This is so helpful if you log your food and activity consistently. So why is this helpful? So if you're out there in the wild and you need a reminder of what foods are good for you to stay in target and what's going to throw you out of range, this is the view for you. You can see the foods activity that kept you within range and those that did not. It's good to look at this weekly so you sort of have a chance to look at it in terms of like how you might start changing the foods you're eating, or at least thinking about the frequency in which you're having these foods. Overall, the app is great, but there's a couple of things that I wish was available. And the first one is food logging with photos. Now, I already mentioned earlier that I'm not a big fan of food logging. Instead, I love taking pictures of my food, and I have an Instagram account where I do food logs, so make sure to follow me there. It's at effie.eatsandexercise. Now, I wish there was an option where I could upload a photo of my food to remind me of what I ate. Something easier than searching from a food ingredient list. The second thing is I wish I could adjust my target zones or calibrate the sensor a little bit. You can't really do that, although I believe we'll be able to do that in a future release. It's not a big deal, but for me, I'd like to be able to change my target zones. That's really personal to me. So overall, it's a great app and easy to use. It's been fun to see the features evolve over the last few months. Now, there are some new features coming out soon, so make sure to stay tuned and make sure to subscribe. I'm continuing to use the app and hope to provide you with my thoughts on those new features coming soon. Now, are there any questions that you have about using these apps that I haven't shared? If you do, make sure to leave a comment below. And I hope I'll see you in the next one.